record to this computer. Recording in progress. This is what I always need to hear so that we can get officially up and going. So let me just say welcome. This is Lynn, your lead instructor here at Sampson Properties. And as always, I am thrilled to see all of my familiar faces there and also some new faces. I always love it when we've got some new people joining in, and I appreciate you taking your time to be here. So in this session today, we're going to be talking about the $1,000,000 question to ask your clients or your people that you know. So they hopefully will become clients. So that's what we're going to jump in today. This is a spin-off, if you will, of the training series called The Best One-Liners and Conversation Starters, which is on your Learning Trails platform of taking things in order. I think this comes up number 5 and 6 or thereabouts on the checklist of things that you need to take and in order. And why? Because 1 through 4 is getting Jumpstart completed and your database in order. So now that you've got that in order from Jumpstart 3 and you've got your marketing pillars figured out in Jumpstart session 4, what do you say? So we want to make sure that we are giving you the best conversation starters and talking points. I will admit, I have a love-hate relationship with scripts, because so often scripts work well when both parties have the script. But you cannot email the other person the script and say, okay, now we're going to follow along the script, because conversations don't work that way. So we want to give you some of the great tools and the best one-liners. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump right on in. It starts off with the tagline and the mission statement. Those are introduced to you right from the beginning in Jumpstart. I hammer them in every chance I have the opportunity to, so that it becomes second nature to you. The mission statement is, my mission is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which is your home. And my monthly tips are going to help you do just that. Now, don't worry about trying to write this down, because again, it's in Jumpstart 1. It's also in on the handout for the best one-liners, so you can retrieve it from one of a couple of places. But that gives you leverage versus, oh gosh darn, I'm a good agent, I'll do a good job for you. I'm ethical, I'm professional. It takes you nowhere. The conversation ends right there. But when you use the mission statement, is my mission is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which of course is your home. That's why my monthly newsletters and my website are, full of information that's going to help you do just that. Now you've got leverage for additional conversations. And it gives you a foundation in which to carry on to. The other tagline, which is the rock star, is when the home no longer meets your needs, I'm here for you. Now, it can be worded in a couple of, slightly different variances there, but it's the same basic thing. When your home no longer meets your needs, I'm there for you. Does your home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? That's going to invoke a yes or no or kind of or sort of response and conversation. Most of the taglines that agents use really aren't worth the paper they're written on, because it gives you nothing. It gives you nothing to carry on a conversation with. So having that mission statement and that tagline, and the beauty of these is every single one of you should be using them and have them memorized to the point that it rolls off your tongue just as comfortably as saying, hey, good morning, how are you today? They should flow right off. When you go and listen to the whole class, in fact, I think it even is on the Learning Trails, I have the flashcards, the handout for you. So what I did, let me see if I can find mine. There we go. It's right here. What I did was I created 4 up, like a postcard size, of the flashcards. So when you print them out and you cut them, you now have one to either post on your bulletin board as your, embedded commands, or you can take it with you in the car, put it on the dashboard, cover up the odometer, and every time you get to a stop light, not a stop sign, it doesn't work, stop light, you can look up and read. The mission statement is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which is your home. My monthly tips and free reports will help you do just that. Okay. So by the time you're done with your errands and you're running, you have this memorized. Put it in the bathroom while you're doing your hair and your makeup and getting dressed. Repeat it over a couple times as well. This will help you, just like back in the olden days, we had the flashcard with the kids. There you go. Now, I will tell you, if you have this on your dash and it's covering your speedometer and you get pulled over for speeding, just tell the officer you weren't paying attention to the dashboard because you were memorizing your best one-liners, and see if you can get away with it. Now, that officer that pulls you over may need a house someday. So I'm just kidding about that. But yeah, gotta have some fun with this. But yeah, they're designed to print them out. I printed them on cardstock, and yeah, there's like 4 or 5 pages, so you can print them out and have them at the ready. Have one a day, and every chance you get, you just repeat it, and then it just starts flowing, natural for you. That's the best way to do it. So between now and the end of the year, you should have every one of these rolling off your tongue, just as easy as, hey, good morning, how are you? How are your holidays? What do you got planned? These things will flow right off, and that is what the intent is. Okay. All right. Let's talk about some of the best one-liners that go along with an email if you're going to be emailing somebody, because as you know, emailing is part of your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's tap into that one. Great email subject lines. And I saw this one and went, It is said that if you put thank you or I'm sorry in the subject line, they're more apt to get opened up, because people want to know what you're saying thank you for or what you're saying I'm sorry for. So how would you use that in the real world? So let's say there's someone that you've not touched in with in a while, and you're not sure what their status is, but you have their email address. I'm sorry, ... in the subject line might just up the odds of them opening it. It's worth a try, because anything else, they may or may not open it. But I'm sorry, they just might. So keep that one in mind. Another one that is a great when we're talking about emailing and email conversations. This applies especially when you are working with a client and you're following up or confirming details or data. Is the, did I miss anything? Did I miss anything? Another one that works well is, does this make sense? And that is a great one if you are starting a conversation with a potential buyer or seller and you're giving them, maybe a couple bullet points in an email. Again, if it's appropriate, then you can add in there, does this make sense? This is one that you've heard me say. If you have listened to the buyer or seller consultation training classes, either one of them, I use it in both. This one is Matt Easton from Easton University. I'll give credit where credit is due. This came from him, and it was be next step obsessed. So when you are emailing somebody and you're, okay, next step, always put in there, my next step is, ba-da-da-da-da. Your next step is, ba-da-da-da-da. When we get to the end of the buyer and the seller consultation and you're listening to it, you will hear me say, once you've gotten to the end, does this make sense? Do you have any questions? Great. Our next step is I need your approval on the buyer broker agreement, which is basically you hiring me to work on your behalf. So that's your next step. From there, your next step is to talk to the lender of choice so that we know what your purchasing power is. My next step is to start looking based off these areas you've identified and the criteria of what you're looking for. But my hands are tied until I hear back from you and or your lender as to what your purchasing power is. There is no question there what needs to be the next step. And when you think be next step obsessed, always, always, always from the beginning, get into the habit of saying, okay, your next step is this. My next step is this. I always included me in there. What was my next step? What was their next step? And after the first email or two of, okay, we're here. Your next step is this. My next step is this. And then when you follow up with, I've completed this. My next step is this. Your next step is this. Gang, you will fall in love with that the minute you've used it once or twice. And the reason is we so often, and it just makes me cringe, we so often see agents getting frustrated because their client is bouncing all over the place like a pinball game. Okay, you know those pinball games where you pull the little lever back and you let it go and it shoots the ball up and goes bing, 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 all over the place. That's what most agents allow their clients to do. Our brains work methodically. We want to know what is the next step? 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 When we do the buyer and seller consultations, your D's, your S's, and your C's will love you to the moon and back. When you keep them focused and on track with what's the next step, what is your next step? What is my next step? What is your next step? And the minute they call you and say, okay, I've completed that step, and they ask, what is my next step? That is when you get up on your desk and you do the happy dance. Just make sure no one's around to watch you do it because it's going to be funny, right? But that means you have your client securedly tucked under your wing and you are methodically working through the transaction together. They will trust you because they want to know what is the next step. Don't bother them with step 15, 17, and 19. They just want to know what do I need to do next? What's my next step? Because even if you told them 1 through 20, they're not going to remember it. So the old adage, well, I told them, get over yourself. They're not listening to a fraction or retaining a fraction of what you told them. So it absolutely needs to be in writing. These emails with that foundation of what is our next step, you will love to the moon and back. All right. That one is a good one. All right. Another great way, and again, this is taught in the buyer and seller consultation, is after you have met with them, you will do an email immediately to them. And again, in the handout for this class, it gives you the wording, but you will say, when we spoke, I listened carefully. Here is what I heard was important to you. And then you list it in bullet points. You are looking for a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, X square footage in this area or this zip code. This, whatever it was that you talked about and wrote down during the buyer or the seller consultation, you reiterate back to them in the email, bullet points, and then the closing sentences. Did I miss anything? You just won them over. Because here's the secret. If by chance they are interviewing another agent, which they might be, and you don't always know, the fact that you have followed up with, I listened carefully. Here's what I heard you say was important to you. Bullet point it. Did I miss anything? Did I get it right? Trust me, you'll end up crying all the way to the bank because there's not another agent that's doing that unless they're with Samson and I've trained them. Okay. Be the Uncola, separate yourself from the crowd. That is a $1 million drop in the bucket of closing down a buyer or seller consultation, and it's done immediately. All right. Let's move on. A great conversation question or a starter is, I have a question. Get their permission and their attention. Or you can put it is, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Does your home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? There you go. All right. Now let's take that one and go a little bit deeper dive on it. If you ask that question, so does your home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? Most of you have heard the story of a gentleman that I was coaching a couple of years ago. He felt bogged down because he just felt like he was asking the same stupid question to his SOI when he called him. Didn't know what to say. And I said, all right, give this one a whirl. Just out of curiosity, does your home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? He picked up 7 listings. 7 listings equaled 7 buys. 7 plus 7 is 14. Average transaction commission was $10,000. That was $140,000 in 3 months. Yes, he cried all the way to the bank by asking one question that gave a conversation to start. Now, let me go ahead and roll it out in a little more detail. So you ask the question, so does the home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? If they say yes, it does, you say, great. Oh, that's great. I love hearing that. Then the pause and says, I'm just wondering, or I'm just curious, are you planning any home maintenance, repairs, or remodeling over the next, I don't know, year or so? I don't know, next year or so? What that does is it, again, takes pressure off, but it opens a conversation. And they go, yeah, as a matter of fact, we were thinking of redoing the kitchen, or we were thinking about repainting, or we were ready to rip the carpet out and put flooring in. Great. Well, you do know that I get to come by and see it when you're done with it, right? You know that, right? And he always gets a giggle. What it does is it opens that conversation to find out what they're planning. And if you have done your homework from Jumpstart session 3, where we teach you how to start building out your resources of vendors by tapping into the people that you already know, you can remind them when you get started, just remember, I might have some recommended vendors on my list if you're needing anybody. Again, you're letting them know you have it and then pulling it back slightly by saying, if you need anybody. It's reminding them you've got it, but not shoving it down their throat. Okay. The other thing that it does is they say, okay, we're thinking about painting the living room, which then goes into the hallway, into the dining room. Oh, fabulous. So is there a color palette you have in mind? What are you guys thinking? Just a light, gentle, easy conversation. And they're going to tell you, oh, we were thinking about doing it, in the blue range or something in that, color palette or the greens or whatever. Whatever they say is awesome because you can't wait to see it when it's done. Now, how do you leverage your mission is to help them protect and maintain the value of their greatest asset, which is their home. Here ties in a free report, or if you see an article in one of the past newsletters, which is why I recommend that you print out the previous month's newsletters so you have them and you know which articles are in there. So if by chance you remember, God, wait a minute, 6 months ago or a while back, there was an article about painting. Now I'm going to remember there was probably an article. I'm not going to remember what month it was. This is why I'm old school and I print them out. I have a file folder that says newsletters and I will flip through them real quick. I will find the one that had the article about painting tips and I will send them that edition because there's no month on it. Or I'll print it out and say, saw this, thought of you, and send it to them. Or next time I'm at the store, because almost all the stores have them, I may pick up the little booklet or some samples in a particular color that they said they were going to go with. And I would put them with that article or the free report, and I would mail it off to them, which is why I tell you to, for Christmas, tell people you want a roll of stamps. Saw this, thought of you, can't wait to see it when you're done. Keep me posted. And out it goes. Now, is that touch point for you more warm and fuzzy than so you ready to buy or sell? Because I need a transaction. See how it comes across completely different. There you go. All right. Let's rewind now. You ask the question, so does your home still meet your needs? Do you still love it? And they say, no, as a matter of fact, it doesn't. You will act surprised and go, oh, so out of curiosity, what's one thing that this home, your current home has that isn't working for you anymore? And they may say the yard. They may say everything's getting old. They may say, I love the house and hate the stairs. Whatever they say, is your response. The next question in conversation that would go is, so out of curiosity, let's pretend that you do decide you want to sell in, I don't know, the next year or so. What's the one thing the new house would need to have that this one doesn't? Casual, lighthearted, out of curiosity, let's pretend that you decide to sell in the next year or so. What's the one thing the new house would need that this one doesn't have? They're going to tell you. Okay, that's good to know. Now, that leaves a pleasant conversation. Then you could even ask, so, I mean, are you just kind of thinking about it? Or are you actually talking about it? Or is it actually on your radar? They'll answer. Are you looking 6 months, a year? What's a time frame? It could be 6 months or a year or within the next 2 years. This will give you a valuable information that now you can provide a tip or information of value to help them. Back to your mission statement, back to your tagline. Because now, especially, let's say they're a senior, they love the house, they love the neighborhood, but they're not liking the stairs anymore. The yard is too big. They need out in a year or so. Now is when you can start gently sending them a customized tip of the month, which is how to start downsizing, how to determine what treasured values or, treasured keepsakes you're going to keep. Because if they're going into something smaller, trust me, they're not taking everything with them. So there needs to be some decisions. This will allow you a gentle, hey, I saw this article or I saw this free report. I thought of you and wanted to pass it along. That comes across a whole lot better and a whole lot smoother than, so you ready to sell now? Because I'm getting kind of desperate. I got nothing in my pipeline. I'd really like, to get your house listed so I can have a commission in about 3 months. Yeah, no, you're providing information that is valuable to them. Making sense? Give me some thumbs up and some nods. Okay, good. All right. That is a great one to run with as well. We've talked about that. We talked about that. All right. This is a great one when you have what I'm going to call a cold inquiry. A cold inquiry is someone who maybe if you were buying leads, you got them in and you're not sure, or you're going, I don't even know who this person is in my database, and you're labeled them as a D. If you've gone through Jumpstart, you know what that means. So you've got someone, you're basically cold. When you reconnect with them, here's the takeaway. You want to start by saying who you are. And again, this can be text message, email, voicemail, doesn't matter. Hey, this is Lynn with Samson Properties. I follow you on Facebook, or I met you at an open house a while ago. You specify where you two connected at. Because if you can't remember them, I know damn good and well they can't remember you. So to up the odds of them go, oh yeah, I remember now who you are and how you were connected. I was following you on Facebook. I see you were following me on Facebook. We met at such and such. We met at, the mixer. We met at the pool party. We met at the whatever it is. So now there's a connector there. Another great line to use, again, when it's appropriate, is I have an idea and I'd love to get your opinion on it. This is great, literally for almost anything. Let's say too, you've got someone in your database you've not connected with in a while, and you want to kind of reconnect. It's like, I have something I want to throw past you. I'd love your opinion on something. Well, what could that be? Oh, wait, you have a monthly newsletter. Hey, it's been a while since we chatted. Wayne, I'd love to get your opinion on my newsletter. I'm going to email it over to you, and I'll look forward to you taking a peek at it and then let me know what you think. For reports, you can do the same thing. All right. If it is truly a cold call or a cold connection, one of the things you can do is what can I provide you information on today? Not what can I get you? What do you need? But what can I provide you information on today? Now, what they may need tomorrow or next week could be different, but you're specifying what you can provide information on today. And then you can also ask them, again, this works well on a cold call or a cold connection that you're trying to reconnect with, is what research have you done? Just out of curiosity, what research have you done? They may say nothing. They may say, well, I've been looking on Zillow for what my house is, can be sold for. Okay, that's nothing more than a guesstimation. Now, Now, let's say you've got a cold connection of someone that came through who's a renter. You can always ask, have you considered the buy versus rent comparison? Have you considered X to Y? So that's one to kind of have at your, there you go. Another good one, of course, is what's the most important thing you want to accomplish in the next 3 months? I know you have 100 questions, so let me answer a few of them for you right now. Okay. The other one, which again is a great way to wind it down after a conversation, is does it make sense to move forward? Does it make sense to take our next step? Does it make sense to move forward? Yes or no? All right. I've already shared with you the I have an idea or I want your opinion on something. Again, that can be a newsletter. That's a great way to connect or reconnect. Another one that may be good if someone's been sitting on the fence, they want to buy or they want to sell and they're not sure. Okay, think about this for a minute. Have any of you ever sat on a fence? I mean, literally, have any of you sat on a fence? Fences are either barbed wire. I'm thinking I'm not wanting to sit on that. It's a white picket fence. Those points, I'm not wanting to sit on those either. Think about the other types of fences that are out there. I'm not wanting to sit hardly on any of them. So envision that for a second. Well, you're asking them, um, were you serious when you said you were thinking about buying in 6 months, or were you just kidding? Now, this is a great one. It takes a little bit of spunk, but you know me, I would do it because I did. Um, were you serious when you said blah, 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 or were you just kidding? When we met at the open house a few months back, you indicated you were interested in buying. So were you serious or were you just kidding? Gang, it's okay to call them out on it. Because if they were just kidding, just to say something to appease you or to shut you up, kick them to the curb and let them go. You cannot resuscitate them. The staying alive. Yeah, no, do not spend your precious, valuable real estate time trying to resuscitate someone who attended an open house. Their credit score is in the toilet, and there's no way they can qualify for at least 6 months or a year. You can't fix what they've messed up. And I've always had a good giggle behind the scenes when an agent will tell me, well, I have 5 prospective buyers. Great. Tell me about them. Well, they just quit their job or they just got fired again, or their credit score is in the dump, or they just got out of jail. I'm sorry. You can't resuscitate them. That is not your job. And while you're trying to resuscitate this dead weight, you are missing at 3 or 4 other possible potential buyers or sellers that are walking right past you going, hey, I need some help. But you're so embedded to try to resuscitate this deadbeat, you've missed out on the good ones that could go. So quit trying to resuscitate the deadbeats. They were the ones. Okay, this is going to sound hard, but you know me, hear my mouth, forgive my heart. Or no, yeah, hear my heart, forgive my mouth. I knew I'd get that right. You didn't create the mess that they were in. It is not your job to get them out of it. So if they're serious, and if they're yeah, you're too busy doing CPR on the dead. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So who was ever taken a CPR class? Anybody? Okay. What are the 2 songs they tell you to play in your head? Do not sing them out loud if you ever have to give CPR to somebody. It's the beat to Staying Alive, Staying Alive. Okay, remember that song? Boop, 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 boop. Okay, because it gives you the beat to do CPR too. Or the other one is Another One Bites the Dust. Another One Bites the Dust. Yeah, don't be singing those out loud if you're doing CPR on someone. I'm just putting it out there. That is a bonus from Lynn. Do not sing those 2 songs out loud if you're needing to ever give CPR to somebody. Now you know. Now you know. But seriously, if they are not ready, willing, and able, you don't have a qualified prospect. So if their credit is in the tank, connect them with a lender who's got a lender program that can help get them back on their feet. You send them the monthly newsletter because you can do that free of charge, and let them sink or swim. I know that we have all done it. We think we can revive them. We think we can resuscitate them. We think we can get them on their feet. Gang, you work with the ready, willing, and able. Okay. Don't miss the ones that are walking past. All right. Another great one. Again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due on this one. You know, the amazing Bob and Rana group that has joined Samson recently. Okay. That do mega. First off, If you ever have a chance to meet those two, they are the most loving souls I have ever seen in my life, I think. They absolutely have a heart of gold. And being who they are in the amount of production that they and their team do, it could be very easy for them to have the attitude. And they don't. They are as humble and down to earth. I adore them both. So I'm going to give credit where credit is due. This one came from Bob. We were chit-chatting. And when it comes to purging the file, what he will say is he will call and say, hey, we met you 6 months ago or 9 months ago, whatever, at an open house that you attended that we were holding. I haven't heard from you. I haven't heard back from you, or haven't got a response to my emails. I am in the process of purging my files. Would you like me to purge you off of it or to keep you on? He says people do not want to be purged. It's like, sounds like they're throwing up. And he said they will respond back and say, oh, I'm sorry, da 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 happened, life happened, whatever. Yes, I'm still interested. But the fact he came right out and said, introduced how they were connected. It's been a while. You've not responded back. I'm in the process of quarterly or annually purging my files. Do you want me to purge you off, or are you still interested? Please let me know. He says 90% of the time he'll get a response back. Yes, they want to be left on. I mean, thumbs up on that one. I loved it. So again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due on that one. And again, if you ever get a chance to meet them, they are amazing human beings. Okay. When you send something in the mail or email, whether it be a newsletter or a free report or whatever, a great way to follow up, whether it be by text or by email, is to say, did you get a chance to look at it? What caught your attention? Maybe what did you like the best? What did you like the least? Again, use that based off of whatever you have sent them. Did you get a chance to look at it? What caught your attention? That would be newsletter. Maybe a free report. If you're sending them a CMA or the Fruit Bowl snapshot, did you get a chance to look at it? Do you agree or disagree? Again, a basic question that applies to whatever it was you just sent them. Whenever possible, you want to remind them that and again, this is a great email. This is a great phone message. This is a great text message. 543. But you want to make sure that you have the stuff up on your website to back it up. I just wanted to make sure that you knew I had a library of free reports or a library of past newsletters available on my website for you 24/7. Did you know that? Goes back to your mission, supporting your mission statement. It goes back to supporting your tagline. It is not that annoying, you're ready to buy or sell, but it's also letting them know that you have resources available for them 24/7 on your website. Did you know about that? Did you know I started a blog a couple of months ago? I've got several blog posts now. I just want to make sure you knew about it or remembered it and had a chance to go check it out. I'd love to hear your feedback. Can't beat that. Okay. All right. One other thing, a couple of other things I want to close with. If you are dealing with someone who definitely has their opinions, one great tagline to use is it okay if I share something with you? Is it okay if I share something with you? I know that you said you were wanting to wait on buying until the rates came down. Here's what I want to make sure you understand. See how careful that conversation went? You've got their attention. Is it okay if I share something with you? I know you were concerned about rates, but here's what really is going on behind the scenes. We have a backup of pent-up buyers. The minutes rates comes down, they flood back in. They start forcing prices up because it's supply and demand. So now you're competing against 10 or 20 offers, where right now you're maybe competing against 3 or 5. Does it make sense, now that you know this, to wait? Now that you know this, does it make sense to wait? Great conversation starter. When you are kind of at the end of a consultation, the buyer and seller consultation, obviously you ask, the way I present it to you is, I think we could work well together. I would love that. If you have any questions, and again, you're nodding, they're nodding along as well. Okay, our next step is blah, 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 blah. Another thing that you can say is, do you believe I can help you achieve your goals? Finish the buyer consultation, finish the seller consultation. Based off what you now know as to, how I market a property or how I search for property, do you believe that I'm the one that can help? I am the one, embedded command, that can help you achieve your goals. Great. I'm glad to hear that. I agree. And our next step is, I need your autograph on these papers, which will authorize me to start working on your behalf, buyer broker agreement or the listing agreement, whichever applies, and you're off and running. Okay. That is a good one as well. Okay. Last thing, promise, this is the last one that I'm going to share with you again, and it's in the handouts. This is what's called the coffee closing statement. Again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. This is something that was taught to me a long time ago from Joe Stump in the Buy Referral Only. Joe Stump, for those that don't know him, because he was in San Diego and right in our backyard, Joe started off working with Brian Buffini, and then they separated companies and went, kind of a little bit of a different path. Joe is very much of, I'm going to say, neurolinguistics. He's very knowledgeable about words, tone, placement, embedded commands. That's why I got my little cardinal there. In getting things said the right way, in the right order, with the right tone and the right cadence that goes with it. So again, this is written out, so you don't need to try to write it. But at the end of a coffee or a meeting, shall we say, so if you're just getting caught up, here is the one script that I would say would be worth your time to memorize. Denise, you know that I'm your go-to source for anything real estate related. You know my mission is to help you protect and maintain the value of your greatest asset, which is your home. Okay. The are the embedded commands. Their brain is going, I know this. I know that she is my go-to source. I know that her mission is to help me protect the value of my home, which is big and important to me. You call them by name to make sure that you've engaged in them, because their brain is processing the other two sentences. May I ask you a question? They will always say yes or okay. Someday, now you can use the word someday, or you can use the word eventually. The two can be intertwined and go hand in hand. Someday, you or someone you know is going to need some help with something real estate related. When that happens, are you comfortable introducing them to me? And the head starts with a gentle nod. When that happens, are you comfortable introducing them to me? This way, I can interview with them and determine if I'm the right match for what they're needing to achieve or accomplish. Great. Once they say yes, your response then is promise. One word, promise, and shut up. Their brain is grasping it in. They're going to say, yes, If they're good friends, you can go pinky swear or something fun. Okay. Secret handshake, whatever. And there's a giggle and you're done. You want the pause or the end of that conversation to end right there. Because here's why. We know that scientifically, what our brains take in and hear, it will repeat 10,000 times during the next 24 hours. The embedded commands. She has just promised that the next time she knows someone who needs some help, she's comfortable in introducing them to me so that I can hold my interview with them to make sure I'm a good match. No pressure, no strings attached. And her brain is also processing, I know she's my go-to source. I know that her mission is to help me protect and maintain the value of my greatest asset, which is my home. Now, the you know is embedded. The someday or eventually, I'm going to know someone who's going to need some help. I'm comfortable introducing them. She's going to do an interview. She's not going to go for their jugular. And I made a promise. My word is my bond. I made a promise. That is the boom. Drop the mic. I'm going home after a conversation. And again, this is all written out in the handout. And yes, I will actually attach this handout as well in my learning, listen and learn channel or page on my website. So you'll have the recording of this that we just did, plus this handout. So you'll have all the verbiage. Print it out and highlight it up. Okay. So those are some of the best takeaways. If you just need to chat with someone, how to start a conversation with someone, how to do an email, a follow-up. Were you kidding? Were you serious? Are you going to get purged? You're not going to get purged. So these things should be the backbone of your conversations. This is one that seriously, this is not having these particular skill sets of these conversation starters is what's going to hold you back or backfire by not having them flowing off and flowing out of your conversations. So I would hope that you will also print this out, highlight, have one or two a day that you're repeating until, again, it becomes part of your just normal, natural dialogue. And if you know you're going to be making calls, reference this, find the one or two lines that you need to use on whoever you're going to be calling, and at least be comfortable getting started with it until such time it flows completely natural from start to finish without any hiccups, without any, not sure what to say or how to do it in the right tone and the right cadence. Okay. So here's the final takeaway. 1 second, and then I'll open up for some questions. Understand that this is a numbers game. Say less to more people, but what you say needs to be powerful. Fill the funnel. There typically needs to be 5 to 8 exposures for follow-up before people will generally respond back. Most agents will quit after the second, third, or fourth. It is a process, not an event. No doesn't mean no. It just means no, not now. Work with the willing, the ready, willing, and able. Do not do resuscitation. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. You need to learn to move on to the ones that have messed up their life or their credit score to the point that you can't resuscitate them. You can point them in the direction to get them some additional help, but it is not your job to try to fix it. Okay. All right. Let me open up some questions. Who had a question or something they wanted to share or ask?
Quick question for me. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Um, when will those handouts be available?
In about 5 minutes
Okay, great.
or less. Yes.
And just an aside, you can't help them if rigor mortis is already set in.
Yes. Yes. That is so true. That is so true. Now, that, however, is a topic for another class in itself of how to work with the dead. Been there, done that. That's a whole other conversation to have because you're dealing with the estates
Mhm.
and the executors and the, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. Horror story on the sidelines. A girlfriend of mine in San Diego just finished a $1.8 million sale of a family's estate. It was one of the properties that are in the estate. She went to high school with the one man that was the executor trustee, along in equal partnership with his sister to represent the five that are in the family. He started telling her that it was the sister who was going to be a pain in the patoot. Oh no, sister was fine. He was the pain in the patoot. You talk about horror stories of the real estate world. This is going into my book because when she went through with that one, I told her I was going to come out and slap him upside the head. So yeah, he wasn't going to sign until, such and such. It's like, no, you don't get to decide that. And then now he's wanting to take all the proceeds of $1.725 million, and instead of dispensing it the way it's supposed to, he thinks he can do a better job in managing the money and is wanting to not dispense it. Well, again, that goes through the attorneys, but he's wanting to do it his way and is wanting to invest the money himself because he doesn't think they'll do a good job with it. Cannot make this stuff up. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So that'll go into my horror stories as well. All right. Roxanne. Thank you, Carl. Roxanne, you had your hand up. What you got, my friend?
I just have you brought it up earlier on about, clients. So I have two clients, husband and wife. 1 minute they're ready, 1 minute they're not. And I have had that conversation where I basically said, I'm just paraphrasing right now. We've looked at, several homes, I've noticed that since we've looked at so many homes, it has evolved, because I didn't want to say you changed. I said it has evolved.
That's a good
Let's
word.
have a meeting. I said, let's have a meeting to discuss next steps so we can go back over to ensure that I'm meeting your needs. Like I said, I'm just paraphrasing. That's not what
Okay.
I said, but that's most of it.
Okay.
And when I did that, like, the husband is ready to go, but she's not. And every once in a while, she'll try to she'll try to throw in a house and say, hey, I want to look at this house, but I'm looking for the house for a friend. And, I basically shared with her, I was like, I understand that's so noble of you that you're looking at a house for your friend. However, my contract is with you and your husband, not your friend, and I'm not able to facilitate that. However, I would be more than happy to sit with that friend. So then she got mad at me. So she's not she's not talking to me, but like, he would meet me to look at the houses. So I feel like I'm kind of caught in a little bit of a love-hate relationship right
Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. It happens. Many of us are sitting there going, yeah, I've been through that as well. Here is where this tool will help eliminate that. If you have done the full buyer consultation up front, determined wants and needs, did all that kind of good stuff, you've got all that in place, then when you go out to preview homes, you take that worksheet that's provided in that packet, and every
now.
time they rate that house,
Mm-hmm.
okay, on a scale of, what they like, what they don't like, on a scale of 1 to 10, they give you
Mm-hmm.
the rating at the bottom. Then when you
Mm-hmm.
are done with an outing for that day, you
Mm-hmm.
say, if, which you don't, but if you had to write an offer, and these were the only 6 properties that were available on the market for you, if you had to today make a decision, which you don't, put them in
Mm-hmm.
order. Which ones are your priorities? Number first choice, second choice, third, fourth, fifth, sixth choice, based on how many homes you went and saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then when you got them in, and then if they gave that one a number one on the roster, and they gave it a score on the scale of 1 to 10, an 8 or 9, why are we not wanting to put an offer in on it?
Okay.
Okay. Why are we not wanting to? What does it not have that you're looking for? Okay. They're going to tell you. Great. Now, when you go in and log into your MLS and you see that property 1 and property 3 are no longer available because they're gone pending, you report to them and say, I know this was your first choice at 123 Main Street when we went the other day. It is no longer available. Somebody else snatched it up away from you.
Mm-hmm.
They snatched it away from you. In other words, you snooze, you lose, baby cakes. Okay, so you don't say that part. You just tell them that somebody else, has gone under contract with it, so it's no longer, a top priority. Once they start seeing that homes they're missing, they'll start rethinking that they need to make a decision. Now, whenever I got that report card back from them and I filled out one, well, they filled it out as well. I would not leave until they had got it filled out and I took it. I want to know, where did I miss? What did this house not have that you were looking for? And make them answer, because based off the criteria you gave me, Roxanne and Bob, this house met all the checklists. What was it missing?
Okay.
And then you hush and make them answer and speak first. Okay. A challenge that we often have is we ask a question and that silence, we can't handle it, so we spit out something else. One of the best things you can learn to do is bite your tongue and grit your teeth. You ask the question and then hush, because they've got to answer next.
And Lynn, that's exactly what I do. Is I ask the questions, I don't say anything, I wait for them to respond. And I see people in the chat are saying that, you don't take one or the other. Since you guys don't know the situation, your response is out of content. What I have done is I schedule it for both of them to come. She got mad and she decided not to come. So it was scheduled for both of them to be there. And I don't schedule it for neither of them. I always ensure, and I always ask to ensure that both of them are going to be there.
There's some bickering going behind the scenes between the two of them. And you're not the marriage counselor. And so you can't get in the middle of it. You can't take one side over the other. Again, you're not getting paid $300 an hour to be the marriage counselor. So when they're both not on the same page, yeah, you're going to have a challenge. But as long as you know you're doing everything, you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, and you're asking the key questions, you just need to play it out until the point that you say, okay, what's missing here? We've seen 35 homes. I don't understand. I have shown you everything that you have asked for. Why are we not making a decision? Yeah, this is where, yeah, you're right. Being the professional problem solver can be stressful. Yep.
Okay.
So again, as long as you know you're doing everything, sometimes it just got to play out, but you can't tell them they need marriage counseling instead. So Carl,
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome. You got your hand up. I know you are seasoned. You probably come across this as well.
Yeah, but just for me, I would not take out just one of them, because you're getting in the middle. And even though you've scheduled the appointments, I would say, okay, well, if your wife can't come, because then you have to show the property twice if he likes it and wants her to come, that's a waste of your time. So if they both, because you have an agreement with both of them, not just one of them. So if both of them cannot attend, cancel the appointments across the board, and then he will have to work with his wife to find a time that is appropriate for both of them.
Yeah. And again, monitoring it on the MLS to say, hey, I'm sorry, I know you're wanting to see this one and she wasn't available. It's now off the market, so it's no longer an option for you. Once they start seeing things being taken away, now the other thing is too, is if there is a particular neighborhood that they absolutely want to get into, you can do some reverse prospecting in there to find out if there's somebody else coming up with a soon to be listing that is not on the market yet. And we teach that in one of the classes as well, how to do that. So again, just try to have all the tools at the ready. Know that you are going down your checklist and you've done everything that could possibly be done. But when it comes to marriage counseling, that's not your job. So there's obviously a component there that you're not completely, either privy to, or there's just an internal something going on between the two of them. And hopefully by asking the question, this is exactly what you asked for. What was it missing? Why are we not ready to pull the trigger? So, and have them explain, share with them, have them share with you why that house did not meet the criteria that they mapped out. So,
Thank you.
okay,
And-
you're
and
welcome. You're
the
welcome,
wife
Roxanne.
is angry with you, you need to work on that relationship, because if she is the actual decision maker, then I don't know how she's going to move forward if she's not vibing with you.
Yeah. Yeah. And it could
Okay,
be she's mad
Helena,
at
I'm
him.
just saying, I'm
Yeah,
not
she's
saying
probably
she's
mad
mad.
at him.
I'm assuming that she's mad, but I'm just saying. They
Yeah,
agreed
no.
to show up and she didn't. So,
Okay.
like I said, there's a lot going on. Thank
Yeah,
you.
there's something between the two of them that poor Roxanne's in the middle of.
Yeah.
Roxanne, keep us posted on that one. I want to know how it comes out. So, but you got this. It sounds like you're doing everything you can. Just double check that you got every little, option checked off. Or when you go in, say this meets literally the list of the criteria that you've asked for before you even open the door, or as you're opening the door. Based off the criteria that you gave me, this house, it's all the check boxes.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, my friends, that is going to wrap down our time for today. Hopefully this has been a good session for you to understand the power and the value of words, asking key questions in a key tone, in a key cadence, to get the impact and the results that you want. Hopefully this has been beneficial for you. And thank you for taking the time. We are going to shut the recorder off. It's going to take a couple minutes to download. I will have these downloaded and up on my website before I leave the office in the next 10 minutes. All right, my friend, go be wonderful, go be awesome, and go master your skills. I'll see you in the next session. Oh, and a reminder, no classes for the next 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay. Enjoy your vacation, Lynn.
I will. I'll give you updates on what I'm doing. Okay.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to all of you. Have a blessed, blessed Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Lynn.
You as well. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. See y'all soon.